Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, DIY Koi Fish Pond and Pond Gardening. If you're a regular subscriber, thank you very much. Welcome back. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And we'll share with you many videos and topics on DIY koi fish ponds, as well as landscaping and koi fish pond gardening or water gardening. And in this episode, we're going to talk more about the bog garden. The bog garden is part of the koi pond, and altogether it makes pond gardening. So all these edible plants here were in the bog garden or the bog box garden. The bog box is also a filter, as many of you know already. So getting back to the plants that were in the bog box, we have this beautiful young blueberry tree or future blueberry tree. That's going to take about another year to start developing fruit. It takes 2 to 3 years for a young blueberry tree to bear fruit once it's fully fertilized. And we also have 2 edible, obviously, purple lettuce or red lettuce. And the unique thing about pond water, obviously, is the fertilization of the water and the bacteria in the water helping fertilize the plants. And you know they're fertilized when your plants start producing flowers. You see those little flowers there, yellow flowers on the tops of the lettuce plants? Beautiful. And there's more to bloom. Every little purple bud there will bloom a little yellow flower. I didn't know that until I actually started fertilizing those plants. The little cherry tomato plant, if you were viewing a week ago, they were all green. Now we have one red tomato, a couple of them turning orange. Wonderful. We have a bell pepper plant that's still starting out. It does have buds and it does make flowers. We have another small blueberry tree that was struggling, wasn't getting fertilized. All this gardening, pond gardening, landscaping, this is all new to me. If you tuned in 2 months ago, I explained how I've retired and moved to this 1-acre homestead up in the mountains of Edgewood, New Mexico. And you're welcome to go back and see those videos on gardening and landscaping. Let's take a look at the bog box filter. You see the rock media. Okay, this bog box filter is turned off. There is a pump right over there under that flat flagstone, a 400-gallon pump providing water underneath all that media and underneath 2 or 3 polyfilters, sheets of polyfilter fiber. I'll pull one out just to give an example, and that's ready to be cleaned. All right, and these come in rolls and rolls of several feet of polyfill fiber that you can get from the craft store or Walmart in the craft section, the sewing section. All right, let me hold this up to the sun so you can see how much algae this has collected. And not just the purpose of filtering water, but also getting rid of algae. As discussed in a previous video, I do want algae in the pond. I just want to regulate it to a minimum. A minimum amount of algae provides the necessary bacteria, food for the fish, and biological food for the water's nutrition. We talked about in previous episodes how I made this stone, or cement stone, my version of a Japanese hibachi table. What's a hibachi table? Hibachi tables are used in Japan for hundreds, thousands of years to cook on, to sit on, to dine on. The Japanese, when it comes to furniture, are minimalists, and traditionally will sit on the floor to dine, to socialize, to visit their family members. So when I want to use this hibachi table, I can put a pot of tea to boil on that propane burner there, or I can grill a breast of chicken or a hamburger in my George Foreman grill. That's electric, and all my electric power is concealed and waterproofed underneath that capstone brick box right there. You see the wires coming out. If you look in there, there's my power strip with surge protection. Continuing on with the pond, I am still maintaining the minimal requirements of algae in my small pond. My pond is about 500 gallons, and I like to use a bucket filter. I have about 24 holes just 4 inches below the top of this bucket, 5-gallon bucket, and those holes spill streams of water from the bucket. Inside the bucket is a large bale of barley, and that barley is soaking in the bucket and releasing an enzyme that not necessarily kills barley, but it prevents it from growing any further than what normally this pond is creating in algae. I know this from experimentation over the last 60 days. That's why I'm sharing this information with you. I created a spillway of filtered water into my bucket filter with a 400-gallon pump and a double filter pond filter box right there. Okay, that's being fed water from a basket of polyfill in the 400-gallon pump right underneath those rocks, right next to the tomato garden. Why is the tomato garden container in the pond? Well, it's a ½ inch into the water. And if you look into the soil, those roots of that tomato plant is sucking up that pond water naturally to provide fertilization to that beautiful fruit, the tomatoes. And look how these beautiful red tomatoes are growing. Some of them need to be picked. And if you saw some videos a couple of weeks ago, those tomatoes were green. I can't stress the importance enough for beginner pond builders like myself and any of my subscribers or followers or viewers. I have hundreds of viewers, and I appreciate it. And perhaps most of you have a pond or a small pond or are thinking about building a small pond. I have a 5-plant floating water garden right there, mostly parsley and water lettuce, celery plants. And to top off this video, we have the double bog, rock bog filtered waterfall. We got a rock bog down there on the bottom and one in the middle, and no bog on the top, just free flowing filtered water. Well, there you have it. DIY koi fish pond, and pond garden, edible garden. I appreciate your time today. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.